Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to explore some of the most valuable and fascinating coins in the United States, our top 5 rare treasures that include the Susan B. Anthony Dollar, the Sacagawea Dollar, the Washington Quarter, the Jefferson Nickel, and the Wheat Penny. In this video, we'll take a closer look at their market values, rare minting errors, and the special conditions that make these coins highly sought after by collectors. We'll also explore versions made with silver, copper, and even gold tones, along with the unique color shades and variations that add to their rarity and beauty. These coins are not just pieces of currency. They are symbols of American history and some of the most valuable collectibles that enthusiasts and investors are chasing today. So, if you're a coin enthusiast or someone who appreciates the art, beauty, and significance of U.S. currency, this video is for you. Moneybag, let's get started with our first rare coin. The year 1979 marked a turning point in the history of American coinage, the birth of the Susan B. Anthony Dollar, a coin that carried not only metallic worth but also a story of courage, reform, and transformation. Among the varieties that rolled out that year, the 1979 D Susan B. Anthony Dollar, minted in Denver, shines brightest for collectors who understand its deeper meaning. Though millions were produced, few truly know the extraordinary story of this coin, one that combines historical legacy, artistic design, and a touch of mystery that still captivates numismatists today. The Susan B. Anthony Dollar was more than just a piece of money. It was a tribute to a woman whose name had become synonymous with the fight for equality. For the first time in U.S. history, a real woman, not a symbolic figure like Liberty, appeared on an American circulating coin. This moment was revolutionary. When the Denver Mint struck the 1979 D version, it immortalized a century of struggle led by Susan B. Anthony herself, a figure who fought relentlessly for women's right to vote. The coin became a small but powerful monument in the palm of every American. The 1979 D Susan B. Anthony Dollar is also unique in its composition and design. Made primarily of copper and nickel, its silvery sheen and bold relief give it a brilliance that feels almost precious. The D mint mark, resting just beneath Anthony's neck, is a subtle detail that transforms an ordinary coin into something more remarkable. Each mark, each curve of her portrait tells a story of craft, precision, and pride. But what collectors and historians love most is not just how it looks, but what it represents, the beginning of modern coinage that bridged the gap between the past and the future. Behind its creation lay the dream of efficiency. The U.S. Mint hoped this new dollar coin would replace the cumbersome paper note, saving billions over time. Yet, the $1,979 faced an unexpected challenge. It was easily confused with a quarter. People rejected it, tucked it away, and forgot about it. But that very rejection gave it the power of rarity today. Coins that vanish from circulation often reappear decades later as treasures, and the 1979 D Susan B. Anthony Dollar is no exception. Collectors today hunt for pristine examples of this coin, those struck with sharp detail, free of blemishes, shining with that unmistakable mint luster. Some special strike varieties, such as the proof-like or deep cameo finishes, are worth far more than their face value. A flawless 1979 D dollar, preserved in near-perfect condition, can fetch thousands in auctions, depending on its grade and historical significance. This transformation from pocket change to prized possession mirrors the coin's message. Even something ordinary can hold extraordinary value if time and fate align. There's also a fascinating myth surrounding the 1979 D coin. Whispers that a handful were struck on silver planchets left over from the Eisenhower dollar era. While unconfirmed, such stories have fueled decades of speculation. In the world of numismatics, such possibilities can turn curiosity into obsession. It's this mystery, this what if, that gives the 1979 D Susan B. Anthony Dollar its electric allure. A coin like this doesn't just belong to collectors. It belongs to dreamers who see history not as something past, but as something alive. The artistry behind the coin adds another layer of depth. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, it captures Susan B. Anthony's stern yet compassionate spirit. On the reverse side, the eagle landing on the moon, borrowed from the Apollo 11 insignia, ties her legacy to one of humanity's greatest achievements. In a way, the coin unites two triumphs: the fight for equality and the conquest of space. It's a powerful statement cast in metal, an emblem of progress that transcends generations. The Denver Mint's 1979 run was massive, yet within it lies variation and distinction that only experts can discern. Some strikes are crisp and well-centered. Others reveal minor errors or doubling that can make them astronomically valuable. A tiny misalignment, a faint die crack, or a unique minting flaw could transform a $1 coin into a millionaire's trophy. Stories abound of collectors discovering fortune in forgotten drawers. A simple 1979 D coin selling for sums that could change lives overnight. But beyond its financial worth, the 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollar carries emotional weight. It's a bridge between eras, a symbol of empowerment and perseverance. To hold one is to touch the fabric of American history, the pulse of a nation that dared to honor a reformer who fought when her voice was silenced. The coin teaches us that value doesn't always lie in metal or rarity. Sometimes it's found in the ideals it represents. In today's market, the demand for these coins continues to rise, driven by nostalgia and the allure of hidden wealth. As precious metal prices fluctuate, collectors increasingly view coins like the 1979 D as both sentimental treasures and potential investments. The mere idea that one could hold $1 billion fortune in such a small, silver-toned coin ignites imagination everywhere. A story of destiny written in copper and nickel. So, if you happen to own a 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollar, hold it close. Don't rush to spend it, don't underestimate it. Within that modest circle of metal lies a story of revolution, artistry, and hidden potential. It's a coin that defied expectations, that rose from rejection to reverence. It reminds us that history, like value, is never truly lost, only waiting to be rediscovered. And perhaps, just perhaps, your coin is one of those few extraordinary strikes, the kind that can turn a dreamer into a billionaire overnight. That's the magic of numismatics, where a small piece of the past holds the power to reshape the future. The 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollar isn't just money. It's a symbol of resilience, a mirror of progress, and a whisper from history saying, keep believing, for greatness hides in the smallest things. Next up. The 2001 Sacagawea Dollar is one of those American coins that carries not just metal, but a story that glimmers with the gold-colored luster of ambition, symbolism, and mystery. When the United States Mint introduced this dollar, it was more than just currency. It was a tribute to the strength, courage, and legacy of Sacagawea, the Shoshone woman who guided Lewis and Clark through the uncharted lands of the American West. Her portrait, designed by Glenna Goodacker, shows her turning toward the future, carrying her infant son Jean-Baptiste, a symbol of hope, discovery, and heritage. The P mint mark below the date tells us it was born in Philadelphia, the cradle of American coinage. But few could imagine that among these millions, there exist rare variations and pristine conditions that today could make a collector's fortune. The year 2001 was a turning point for the Sacagawea dollar. After the massive production of the 2000 issue, public circulation had slowed down, and the mint began striking fewer of these coins. Yet, for collectors, this year became one of whispered tales, coins that gleamed more brilliantly, that bore sharper strikes, and that held mysterious shades of color due to unique minting conditions. Some 2001 Sacagawea dollars came out with mirror-like surfaces, known as proof-like strikes, which today can command staggering prices when certified by top grading companies. The composition of this coin adds to its mystique. Although it appears golden, the coin is not made of actual gold. It's a blend of copper, zinc, manganese, and nickel. But that deceptive glow, often mistaken for true gold, has become part of its charm. It was designed intentionally to evoke value and beauty, giving Americans a coin that looked precious while remaining affordable. Yet, over time, certain planchet errors and toning variations have made select pieces appear far richer than they truly are, leading many to believe they possess a golden treasure from the mint itself. Collectors often speak of the unimaginable versions of this coin, those struck on experimental silver planchets or with errors that were never meant to leave the mint. Though few have ever surfaced, the possibility remains tantalizing. A Sacagawea dollar with a silver base instead of its golden hue would be an anomaly of immense worth, possibly worth millions in today's market. If a single one of these coins were discovered, it could indeed make its owner a millionaire overnight. That is the thrilling edge where numismatics meets destiny. The 2001 Sacagawea dollar also holds emotional power because of its story. It celebrates a woman who changed history through courage, guiding explorers through vast unknown lands without recognition or wealth. Her face on this coin is more than just design. It's a symbol of resilience and leadership. Owning such a coin connects one to that legacy, to the spirit of exploration that built America. And for collectors, That connection often holds as much value as the metal itself. One of the greatest legends surrounding this coin is the Goodacre presentation strike. Glenna Goodacre, the artist who sculpted Sacagawea's image, was paid her commission in 5,000 specially polished Sacagawea dollars in 2000, but a few similar presentation-style coins from 2001 are rumored to exist. These carry an extraordinary luster and sharper detail, far beyond standard circulation coins. If authenticated, such coins are the crown jewels of any collection, capable of fetching astronomical sums at auction. Over time, as fewer people used dollar coins in daily life, most of the 2001 P issues remained untouched, sealed in mint bags or collector rolls. This preservation gave rise to near-perfect specimens, coins graded MS-70, meaning flawless under magnification. These pristine examples are the true treasures of the modern era. In the coin market, perfection translates to power. A single flawless Sacagawea dollar from this year can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on demand and rarity of grade. What makes the Sacagawea dollar even more alluring is the quiet mystery surrounding minting experiments of the early 2000s. Rumors persist of pattern coins, pieces struck on leftover golden or even silver planchets during transitional years. Some collectors claim to have seen coins that shimmer differently, that carry faint signs of another metal composition. Whether myth or truth, such whispers fuel the fascination of this coin and keep its legend alive in collectors' hearts. In terms of artistry, the 2001 Sacagawea dollar represents one of the most beautiful designs in modern American coinage. The reverse, crafted by Thomas D. Rogers Sr., depicts a soaring eagle, a timeless emblem of freedom and strength. The contrast between the eagle's wings and Sacagawea's serene face forms a poetic balance, celebrating both courage and peace. It's a coin that carries soul in its metal, a rarity in today's world of mass production. If you hold a 2001 P Sacagawea dollar, you hold more than just a coin. You hold a piece of American history, a fragment of artistry, and a potential fortune. The market for such coins has surged in recent years, as collectors chase every variation, every proof, every gleaming survivor of this series. Some dealers whisper that hidden among them are unique error coins, double strikes, off-center strikes, and color anomalies, each capable of changing a collector's life overnight. The Sacagawea dollar's journey is far from over. Though replaced later by the presidential and Native American dollar series, it remains a golden icon of turn-of-the-century America. It symbolizes innovation, diversity, and the endless quest for perfection that defines the U.S. Mint's legacy. And in that journey, the 2001 P issue stands as a gleaming reminder that even modern coins can achieve legendary status. So, if you ever come across a 2001 P Sacagawea dollar, do not underestimate it. Examine its shine, its details, its feel. Because within that small golden disc may lie a rare combination of luck, craftsmanship, and history, a coin capable of turning fortune's wheel in your favor. It's not just a coin, it's a possibility, a golden echo from America's past that could illuminate your future overnight. Next up, the story of the 1977 D. Washington quarter is not just the tale of a 25-cent piece, but a shining reflection of American artistry, resilience, and the quiet power of history resting in the palm of your hand. Born from the Denver Mint, stamped with its proud D mark, this coin carries more than metal, it carries legacy. It represents a time when America was striding into a new technological age, yet still anchored to the traditional values of craftsmanship and precision. What appears to be a simple quarter can, under the right circumstances, be worth a small fortune, because rarity, error, and condition can turn pocket change into treasure. The Washington quarter first appeared in 1932, a tribute to the 200th birthday of George Washington, the nation's founding father. The design, crafted by sculptor John Flanagan, captured Washington's strength, wisdom, and quiet dignity. By 1977, this design had already been circulating for decades, but the Denver Mint's production that year yielded pieces that would become legends among collectors. Some of these coins bore mysterious variations, subtle errors invisible to the casual eye but dazzling to experts. A double die strike, a misaligned rim, or an unusual metallic luster could transform this coin into something almost mythical. While most 1977 D quarters were made from a copper-nickel blend, legends persist about a handful that escaped the mint on silver planchets left over from previous years. Such a mistake would be almost impossible, yet history has taught collectors to expect the unexpected. The very notion of a 1977 D silver quarter electrifies the numismatic world. If one were to surface today, verified and authenticated, its value could soar into the stratosphere. It wouldn't just be a collectible, it would be a life-changing discovery, a coin capable of turning an ordinary person into a millionaire overnight. The silver connection is what makes this coin shimmer with possibility. Even though silver quarters officially ended production in 1964, rumors persist that the Denver Mint, in the chaos of high output years, occasionally struck a few pieces on leftover silver blanks. If that's true, these coins are not just valuable, they're miracles of minting, time travelers that shouldn't exist. Collectors have spent lifetimes chasing such rarities, scanning rolls of old change, hoping for that glint of history that could change their lives. The 1970s were a defining era for American coinage. Inflation, metal shortages, and rising silver prices forced the U.S. Mint to adapt. By 1977, copper-nickel-clad coins had fully replaced silver, but the aesthetic of quality never disappeared. The Denver Mint, known for its precision, struck over 256 million quarters that year. Yet, within that ocean of coins, a few were special, coins with deep mirror finishes, near-perfect strikes, or unusual metallic tones that drew attention like gold among gravel. Those are the coins collectors dream about, the ones that end up commanding jaw-dropping prices at auctions. Every scratch, every ridge, every detail of Washington's noble profile tells a story. In pristine, uncirculated condition, especially when preserved in mint sets or proof-like states, the 1977 D quarter can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But the true treasure lies in errors. A double-struck quarter, or one with off-center details, can multiply its worth tenfold. For collectors, such a coin isn't just metal, it's art, history, and mystery fused into one small, shining relic. Imagine, for a moment, finding such a coin in your possession. At first glance, it might look like any other quarter, a small disc you'd use to feed a parking meter. But under magnification, you notice the unusual gleam, the faint doubling of letters, or the curious weight that feels slightly different in your hand. That's when your heart races. You realize that what you hold is no ordinary coin, it's a survivor of chance, a treasure that escaped the ordinary course of history. The Washington quarter's design itself speaks to endurance. Washington's profile symbolizes integrity and leadership, while the eagle on the reverse spreads its wings over a nation always seeking freedom and greatness. To hold a 1977 D quarter is to hold a fragment of American identity, something that has passed through generations, from bustling city streets to quiet rural towns, carrying with it the unspoken story of every hand that once held it. Collectors around the world treasure the 1977 D quarter not just for its potential value but for its beauty and meaning. It represents the bridge between the Silver Age of coins and the modern age of clad coinage. For numismatists, this is a pivotal year, where tradition met transformation and where a few rare misstrikes slipped through the minting process, forever altering the fate of those lucky enough to find them. Over the decades, stories have surfaced of people unknowingly holding fortunes in their change jars. A janitor, a cashier, or a schoolteacher finding an unusual quarter could suddenly find themselves in possession of a six-figure artifact. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not about luck alone, it's about awareness. Every coin has a secret, and sometimes that secret is worth a lifetime's fortune. So, if you ever come across a 1977 D Washington quarter that gleams with an otherworldly shine, don't spend it. Study it. Treasure it. It could be one of those legendary few that defied time, reason, and minting standards. In today's coin market, where collectors pay enormous sums for verified rarities, owning such a coin could indeed change your fortune overnight. It's not just a piece of currency, it's a key to history, a symbol of America's journey, and a glittering reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures hide in the most ordinary places. Next up, the 1943 Jefferson Nickel with the P mint mark. Struck during one of the most turbulent periods in modern history, the heart of World War II, this coin is not just a piece of metal, but a symbol of resilience, sacrifice, and transformation. Every glimmer of its silver-tinted surface tells a story of a nation united in purpose, a story that begins in the bustling minting halls of Philadelphia in 1943 and continues to echo across collectors' vaults and auction rooms even today. The Jefferson Nickel series, first introduced in 1938, was designed by Felix Schlag as a tribute to Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the author of the Declaration of Independence. His portrait graces the obverse of the coin, stern yet dignified, while the reverse depicts his iconic home, Monticello, a beacon of enlightenment and freedom. But the 1943 P. Jefferson Nickel stands apart from its brothers, not merely for its design, but for what it represents: a wartime emergency, a silver alloy born of necessity, and an enduring mystery that fascinates numismatists to this day. During the Second World War, the United States government faced a desperate shortage of nickel metal, which was essential for producing weapons and armor plating. To conserve resources for the war effort, the U.S. Mint made a radical decision in 1942: alter the composition of the Jefferson nickel. From mid-1942 through 1945, the Mint replaced the traditional 75% copper and 25% nickel mix with a special alloy of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. Thus, the famous Silver War nickels were born, including the 1943 P nickel, one of the first American coins to ever carry a large mint mark above Monticello, making it instantly recognizable. This change gave the 1943 P Jefferson nickel its unique charm and value. Unlike ordinary nickels, its subtle silver sheen hinted at something extraordinary beneath its humble face value of 5 cents. It was not just currency, it was a wartime relic, a tangible reminder that even small coins played a role in defending freedom. Millions were minted, yet few remain today in pristine condition. Time, circulation, and wear have thinned their numbers, and high-grade specimens, especially those with sharp details and full steps on Monticello, have become treasures that can fetch thousands, even tens of thousands, at auctions. Collectors across the world consider the 1943 P nickel a masterpiece of history. Its P mint mark signifies Philadelphia, the city of independence, and represents the first time that the mint used this mark on a U.S. coin. This one small letter added to its allure and historical weight. Each coin struck in that year carries the silent spirit of the soldiers, workers, and families who contributed to the war effort, men and women who turned raw metal into a symbol of unity. Holding one in your hand is like touching a fragment of America's greatest generation. But beyond its patriotic roots, the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel hides within it a financial allure that can make dreams shimmer. Some of these coins, especially those preserved in proof-like or uncirculated condition, have reached staggering prices in modern coin markets. Rare varieties, with double die errors or striking anomalies, have sold for amounts unimaginable to the ordinary eye. The most perfect examples, shimmering like liquid silver under light, can command a fortune. It is said among collectors that one perfect coin from this series could turn a modest collection into a legacy worth a lifetime. What makes this coin even more fascinating is the myth of its composition. Many new collectors, seeing its bright silver color, believe it to be pure silver or even mistaken for a rare nickel-silver hybrid. In truth, the war nickel's alloy, though not entirely silver, contains enough precious metal to make it distinct, and its historical silver content has grown more valuable over the decades as silver prices surged. The metal alone is worth more than its face value, but its story is what truly multiplies its worth beyond measure. Over the years, the 1943 P nickel has become a favorite of treasure hunters and coin historians alike. Metal detector enthusiasts have unearthed them in forgotten battlefields, old campgrounds, and abandoned homesteads, each discovery breathing new life into an 80-year-old legend. When such a coin appears, collectors whisper of its war spirit, a coin that has journeyed through time, war, and peace, carrying with it the energy of an era that shaped the world. The coin's beauty lies not only in its metallic brilliance but in its emotional weight. Its worn surfaces tell of countless hands that passed it during an age of ration books and victory gardens. It bought bread, coffee, and perhaps the dreams of a returning soldier. Now, decades later, it buys admiration, respect, and wonder. To own a 1943 P. Jefferson nickel is to hold history itself, a moment when even the smallest coin carried the weight of a nation's hope. If fortune ever smiles upon you and you discover one of these shining relics in your collection, do not let it go lightly. For beyond its silver glint lies a fortune of memory and meaning. It may not look like much to the untrained eye, but to those who know its legacy, it's a key that can unlock unimaginable value. A high-grade or rare error 1943 P. nickel can sell for prices that would make even seasoned investors pause, a reminder that history, when preserved, always appreciates. So, as you hold this coin, imagine the echo of wartime factories, the sound of presses striking metal with precision, and the dreams of a generation carved into its face. The 1943 P. Jefferson nickel is not just a coin, it's a story, a relic, and perhaps, if destiny wills it, a treasure capable of changing your life overnight. In the shimmering world of numismatics, it remains a timeless masterpiece, proof that even the humblest coin can carry the wealth of history, the spirit of a nation, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Next up, the 1958 WheatPenny stands as one of the most intriguing and emotionally charged coins in American numismatic history, not because it's covered in gold or struck in silver, but because it captures the closing heartbeat of an era that defined America's working spirit. Struck in the Denver Mint during the final year of the beloved Lincoln Wheat Cent series, this small copper coin carries within its reddish-brown glow the story of a nation transitioning from old values to modern aspirations. The D mint mark beneath the date is more than a letter. It's a symbol of craftsmanship from a mint known for precision, strength, and a relentless push toward progress. The WheatPenny series began in 1909, honoring Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth. For nearly 5 decades, the wheat ears on the reverse represented prosperity, hard work, and the growth of a young industrial America. By 1958, the design was about to be retired, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse the following year. Thus, the 1958 WheatPenny became not just another coin, it became the swan song of a design loved by millions, a last salute to a bygone age of American resilience. Collectors knew, even then, that this was the end of an era, and today that sense of finality gives the 1958 its quiet, powerful mystique. Each 1958 penny was struck in bright bronze, a mixture of copper, tin, and zinc, yet its warmth feels almost golden when the light hits it just right. What makes it remarkable isn't only its metallic composition but the story behind its making. In the late 1950s, America was standing at the edge of massive change. Space exploration, civil rights movements, and new technologies were reshaping every part of life. Yet, in Denver, these pennies rolled off the presses by the hundreds of millions, silent witnesses to the dawn of the modern world. They passed through the hands of factory workers, soldiers, farmers, and dreamers alike, each carrying Lincoln's steady gaze and the promise of liberty. The 1958 WheatPenny might appear ordinary to the untrained eye, but to the passionate collector, it's a time capsule. Among the millions struck, a few rare variations emerged, coins struck with double dies or misaligned dies that gave them unique, almost magical appearances. These rare varieties are now worth small fortunes, as collectors around the world compete to own even a single piece. Some examples have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, their beauty heightened by flawless preservation and that unmistakable reddish luster that time could never dull. The magic of this coin lies not only in its rarity but in its symbolism. It's a reminder that even the humblest of things can hold unimaginable value, that a penny, overlooked and forgotten in a drawer, could one day change a life. Its copper composition tells a deeper truth. Value is not always in gold or silver but in history, legacy, and story. When you hold a 1958 WheatPenny, you hold the final breath of a numismatic legend, the last whisper of America's golden copper age. There's a mysterious aura surrounding this coin because of its year. 1958 was a threshold, a bridge between post-war optimism and the rise of the modern age. In those days, pennies weren't just spare change. They were symbolic of saving, of patience, of small dreams growing into big ones. Parents taught their children to collect them in jars, promising that one day these small coins would amount to something great. Little did they know that decades later, that belief would prove prophetic. Some 1958 pennies now fetch prices that could indeed change fortunes overnight. The Denver Mint's craftsmanship that year was exceptional. The dies were sharp, the strike strong, and the metal pure. Many of the finest examples gleam with almost mirror-like brilliance, their wheat stalks detailed and crisp. When examined under magnification, the precision of Lincoln's portrait, the deep furrows in his hair, the texture of his coat, and the strength in his eyes, showcases the artistry of mid-century American engraving. Every detail whispers of pride, patience, and the pursuit of perfection. Collectors often describe finding a 1958 WheatPenny as discovering a lost treasure hiding in plain sight. They might have found it in an old piggy bank, inherited it in a jar of change, or spotted it shining faintly in a handful of coins at a garage sale. That single moment, of realization that one holds a fragment of American history, is transformative. For some, it becomes a lifelong passion, a journey into the deeper world of coins, history, and human connection. Over the years, myths have swirled around the 1958 penny. Stories of mysterious double-die obverse, experimental strikes, and rare copper compositions have fueled imaginations. While not every story holds truth, The fascination itself reveals the emotional bond people share with this coin. It isn't just a numismatic object, it's a cultural relic, an emotional artifact linking generations of Americans. Even as the world turns digital and paperless, the 1958 wheat penny remains a physical reminder of tangible wealth, patience, and tradition. It speaks of a time when every cent mattered, when children counted pennies for candy and adults tucked them away for savings. Its survival through decades of circulation gives it soul. Each scratch and tone on its surface tells a story, a whisper of pockets, palms, and dreams long past. If you happen to possess one of these coins, especially in mint condition, you may be holding more than money. You may be holding a relic of destiny. Some versions have fetched astronomical sums, transforming ordinary lives in an instant. It's as though the coin carries an unseen energy, a promise that fortune favors the patient, the observant, and those who recognize beauty in simplicity. The 1958 wheat penny is not just a coin, it's a mirror reflecting America's heart, humble, hardworking, hopeful. It reminds us that greatness can hide in the smallest of things, and that a single piece of copper, born from the fire of industry and the hands of artists, can transcend time. So, if you ever come across one, do not spend it, for it holds not only history but the very power to change your story, perhaps even overnight. Thank you so much for watching this video.